And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Tuesday, December 15th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody. A frosty morning here in Middle Tennessee. We're glad to have you and glad to be on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Tracy Pope is here. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, Coleman.
Tracy is Director of Community Relations for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, brings us a guest or two, and most of the times just one, and that's what we have today. But we've got an interesting conversation for the next 25 minutes or so, and we appreciate all you do to make this program what it is. And if you will, introduce our doctor today.
Absolutely. So on September the 1st, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital opened Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center at Wilson County. And we have Dr. Christian Cluey. He's one of our radiation oncologists that comes to our hospital 2 times a week and shares responsibilities with a couple other physicians. So he's here to talk about our radiation services.
Well, we're certainly glad to have you this morning, and I want to start out asking you a little bit of what I asked you before we went on the air here. Yeah. We always got to know where you're from.
Well, yeah, it's been kind of a long journey getting here. At least, I grew up for the most part in a small town in Connecticut, about 25,000 people or so. It's a real small town. And then I moved down to Florida for college and moved out to Texas for medical school. I decided I didn't like the cold weather anymore, so I moved up as far north as I would was Tennessee. So I've been here for several years now, finishing up my training and joining Vanderbilt as a physician.
Well, it gets cold here, but most of the time not really cold. And I've heard some stories about especially from Maine. We got a gentleman in Watertown that came here from Maine, and he likes the warmer weather we have too. So Connecticut is a little south of Maine, if my memory's right.
Yeah, no, we got a decent amount of snow back up there. I remember that a lot of days kind of spent shoveling a long driveway before going to school in the morning. So I don't want to put my kids through that. That was for sure.
Well, tell us a little bit about your family, if you will.
So actually, I met my lovely wife in Texas, convinced her to come out here to Nashville with me as well. We got married a few years ago. And now we've actually put down some roots here with 2 kids of our own. We've got a 3-year-old boy and a 3-month-old girl right now. So it's...
you're just getting started.
Oh, yeah. I just kind of live off coffee right now. It's pretty much how it works.
Well, all right. What does a radiation oncologist do?
Yeah, so there's, whenever you get one of these terrible diagnoses, there's really kind of 3 people that are primarily involved in cancer care. One of those is medical oncologist, and they focus on systemic therapies, things that go into the blood and go throughout the entire body. And then typically you've got maybe a surgeon that's involved as well, somebody that can go in and operate and take out the tumor. And then there's my discipline, which is the third one, which is radiation oncology. And basically what that is it's a local approach to treatment, kind of similar to surgery, but it's non-invasive. So we use high-energy x-rays. So basically the patient just lays on the table, and these are treated from the outside in typically. Although there are some scenarios where we actually have radioactive materials that can go into the body and treat tumors from the inside out. So really it's one of 3 disciplines in cancer care, and it focuses on just kind of locally treating things right where they are.
What types of patients do radiation oncologists see?
Well, so that's one of the things that I really liked about radiation oncology and why I went into it, was that you get to see a really broad spectrum of patients. So the youngest patient I've treated has been about 2 years old. The oldest patient I've treated, I think, was 92. So we see all ages, and then from all sides of the body too. Everything from brain to lung to prostate and extremities and whatnot. So we really see a big diversity of things.
What are some things about being a radiation oncologist that you enjoy the most?
So there's a couple things really that are really great, I think. One of them is I always liked being able to do things with my hands, right? Working on things, designing things and whatnot. And that was kind of what drove me into medicine. I thought for a while I might be a surgeon. And then I spent a couple rotations doing heart surgery and whatnot and kind of standing on my feet for 14 hours and not even taking a bathroom break. I thought, geez, I don't know if I can do this long term. God bless those guys. So as I was looking, and I was really interested in cancer patients and whatnot because I found that just a fascinating field, and I really wanted to help people that were in a great time of need. And I found radiation oncology, and this basically afforded me the opportunity to kind of do things with my hands, but from the comfort of a desk and holding a cup of coffee. So, so that was one of the things I thought was really unique about it.
You mentioned this as one of maybe 3 ways of treatment. What about success with radiation?
Yeah, so it varies a lot. There's a lot that depends kind of on the tumor, the location of these things, what we can offer. And a lot of times what it comes down to is looking at and saying, what's the best approach to the patient that is going to give them the highest chance of success, but also give them the best quality of life out of these things too, and try to minimize any morbidities or toxicities associated with therapy. And sometimes that can range from something as good as prostate cancer, for example, something you've probably heard of. A lot of people have good success with, and those are people that go on for 10, 15, 20 years sometimes without this ever coming back. There's also times too where we're looking at like lung cancers we do fairly well with and everything. There's a lot of things that actually go into success rates, I'd say. So it's a little bit difficult to kind of pinpoint.
Yep.
Off one.
Are there dangers with radiation?
Sure. Yeah, that's we actually see a lot of that. So interestingly, the history of radiation therapy, right? Early 1900s and whatnot, we've kind of found radiation therapy, and we said, "Gosh, what can we use this for?" And we started using it for all sorts of stuff. I don't know if any of your listeners out there were kids in like the 30s or 40s and whatnot. And we looked at it and we said, "Gosh, you've got acne. Maybe we can radiate that." We didn't really know a lot about what we were doing back then. But so in the historical look at things, that we've had some experience with radiation, and we noticed that we could get some bad side effects from things, right? And this was just kind of a blunt approach taken way back in the day. As the years have gone by and we've gotten much better technologies and everything, including computers and all that stuff, we've gotten so much better at being able to appropriately deliver radiation therapy, right? Avoiding critical stuff that's nearby, avoiding, intestines and whatnot, and things that give you side effects, and really just focusing down onto the cancer itself.
So a patient who is going to have radiation treatment doesn't have anywhere near what to fear that people did years and years ago.
Yeah, not what we had like 30 years ago or so. That's a question that commonly comes up. Some people have a little bit of hesitation and things to say, "Gosh, I knew somebody 30 years ago that had treatment, and it was just terrible on them." And I kind of show across the spectrum on things too, even outside my discipline, like chemotherapy, for example.
Right.
We remember the 80s and 90s where chemotherapy was just kind of putting you on the edge. And nowadays we've got such great stuff that's really targeted, and the side effects are much lower. The supportive care is amazing too, in terms of really kind of getting after these side effects before they start and making sure people are as well taken care of as possible.
Okay, if you will, tell us a bit about Vanderbilt's new radiation oncology facility here in Wilson County.
Yeah, we've got a fantastic center that just opened up, like Tracy said, a few months ago. New. It's also got one of the, I think there's only 4 of these machines now in the country. 4 machines that's really the cutting edge here, right? So this is called the Ethos system. And like what I was saying earlier about being able to really target things, this is taking an even more amazing approach in that on the fly, like as we're treating somebody essentially, we can readapt where the radiation is going. So we're actually looking inside the person's body, seeing what the tumor looks like, and then day by day changing how we're actually delivering things. And so this lets us really focus in on the tumor itself and getting less toxicities.
When one has one of these treatments, aren't they fairly short amount of time?
The daily treatments, and they can range from probably about 20 to 30 minutes or so. The vast majority of that time actually though is making sure that we set everything up perfectly. I've heard the old carpenter's adage, measure twice, cut once. Right. So, one of these 30 minutes appointments or so, really, I'd say probably about 20, 25 minutes worth of that is really just making sure that everything is perfect. And the radiation beam itself is only on for maybe 3 to 4 minutes. It's just high energy x-rays. It goes in, it goes out. You don't feel anything. You don't notice anything. You don't smell anything like that. You don't even know what's happening, really. Right?
Well, I obviously haven't experienced this, and I'm wondering, is a person put to sleep?
No. This is what's so great about it, right? You think about going into a hospital and how there's a lot of stuff going on. You worry about going under anesthesia and all these things. This almost, I sometimes tell patients, it's like going to the dentist. You know, you drive up, you park out front, you walk inside, you lay down on the table for about 20, 30, maybe up to 40 minutes, and you're just kind of relaxing.
Well, any particular thing that's unique about our Wilson County Center or about the services that you're providing here, other than what you've already told us here?
So the really unique thing, I think, is that Ethos platform. This is the newest and greatest. Throw all the buzzwords in there you want: adaptive, artificial intelligence, everything. It's got it all. It's really kind of cool. We're one of the few centers in the country that actually has it. So it really allows us to do some unique things on it. I think the best part about all this, though, is that we get to kind of bring all these layers of expertise and everything out here, and really it's for the patient's benefit. Really, a lot of times the radiation therapy, one of the troubling parts about it is that sometimes you're looking at getting treated Monday through Friday, 5 days a week or so, right? Now, if you're driving 120 miles into Nashville, trying to do that Monday through Friday can just be an absolute bear. And that puts a lot of burden on patients, a lot of other kinds of toxicities, But being able to bring this out here to Wilson County, we're able to kind of make that trip a little bit shorter for a lot of folks. And that's been fantastic, I think.
And
yes, go ahead, Tracy.
well, and just to add on to the Ethos machine, so once again, he said it's the 4th in the nation to be installed, and it's the only one within the Vanderbilt system. So sometimes if a Vanderbilt patient that is typically downtown needs that special type of treatment, they will come here to Wilson County for treatment. And it's also the only facility that has the standalone Ethos machine and not the additional linear accelerator to treat patients as well. So, I mean, we just can't emphasize the investment that Vanderbilt Health has made into Wilson County, and especially in our cancer center. So we're very excited.
Well, we there's some uniqueness just for Wilson County here.
Absolutely.
Okay. Dr. Christian Cluey and Tracy Pope are with us from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. A break right here, and more coming up on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
And it's 7:16. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota and Rental Lamprey. Quality tractor implements including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty. Extremely durable and well built. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
You're looking a little bit better here on 65 southbound coming past Long Hollow Pike from an earlier wreck here in the Millersville area. 7200 block of Centennial Place. That's a crash being cleared. Trying to open it back up here in the next few minutes there at 2nd and 4th near I-40 where a police officer was hurt in that accident. Again, that happened earlier. A curious campout is a family sleepover with kids 2 to 6 at Ripley's Aquarium on January 2nd. Check it out at Ripley's Aquarium Facebook page. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Coleman & Company, thanks for joining us. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital each Tuesday and twice a month. Tracy Pope brings us a medical professional to tell us what's going on. Dr. Christian Cluey today, Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center at Wilson County Department of Radiology Oncology. Pretty long title. But as we were saying as we went to the break here, we've really got something going for it here in Wilson County at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital.
Absolutely. So those of us that have been around for a while, we here at the hospital did have a cancer center many years ago, and unfortunately that had to close. And when Vanderbilt was purchasing our hospital, they saw something special. We already had the infrastructure. We already had the capability to start a cancer program pretty quickly. We just needed the equipment. So they started the process before we here at the hospital officially became Vanderbilt, and just started planning. And it's a huge investment. And I know that we've emphasized the Ethos linear accelerator machine, but it's just something special that Vanderbilt saw here in Wilson County and invested.
Well, we probably can't say that enough.
I know.
Really.
Well, we'll let Dr. Cluey tell us all about the details, because I'm just know enough that it's the fourth in the nation. It's here in Wilson County. It's the only one within the Vanderbilt system. So it's special to be here at Wilson County. As far as the Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center at Wilson County, it has its own entrance. You pull around to the back of the hospital. Our hospital's pretty laid out, but you turn in the entrance beside Gibbs Pharmacy, and you just drive around to the back. It's very simple, very easy to enter into. And like Dr. Clue was saying, with the radiation treatment patients, it's after their initial appointment of getting all the details worked out. It's pretty quick appointments. It's easy access. So we're very happy with our cancer center.
And one other thing, we can't point this out too often either, really. The fact that we're closer to all the people to the north and east. We're closer than Nashville is, and it's 30 more miles to Nashville, and all that traffic that you have to endure. It makes for a much longer trip. If you have to go to Nashville, you can come to Lebanon. Now, of course, if you live on the other side of Nashville, that might not be as good. But there are a lot of people to the north and east, and maybe even some to the south here, who can certainly take advantage of that.
And when cancer patients need the specific type of treatment, it's a daily treatment for up to 6 weeks. And, that is a hindrance if you have to drive an hour for a 20-minute appointment and you don't feel well. So we're just very happy that Vanderbilt invested in Wilson County. And, we're able to serve the residents of Wilson County and our surrounding counties and reduce their time that they spend in their car, just getting to their appointment, and, hopefully peace of mind, and just helps with some of the stress going through cancer treatments.
Well, I think another thing you pointed out, Dr. Cooley, the fact that the radiation piece pinpointed so well anymore, so much better than once before, and the dangers associated with radiation have been reduced so much because of this.
Oh yeah, no, and this that's the amazing thing too, is this Ethos machine that we have out here is kind of even taking the next step on that stuff.
So tell us a little bit about what a normal radiation treatment is like, which is still wonderful, standard of care, extreme, but then compare it to what our Ethos machine does.
Yeah. So sometimes I like to kind of take a step back in history and almost kind of think of how we used to do things, at least, right? Back before we had some really high-powered computers and some good imaging and all this stuff, we used to kind of just, I wouldn't say blindly necessarily, but we kind of look at something and we'd say, well, based on these x-rays, the tumor should be in this-ish area. And we had a decent size, what I call fudge factor on things, right? And so based on what we could tell from the outside of the body and looking at things, say, well, we hit this larger area, and I know we've hit the tumor, right? But then we also typically hit a lot of good tissue when we're doing that. So people had a lot of side effects. Then as we kind of progress, we have better CT scans and stuff like that, MRIs and all these things. Now we can actually look at it and say, well, I can pinpoint much better where the tumor is versus where the normal tissue is. And that's kind of how we do things nowadays for the most part, all right? But then with this Ethos system, what we're doing is, instead of saying, maybe at the beginning of that 6-week course of treatment, saying, based on the CT scan, this is where I think things are. With this Ethos system, every single day, we're getting a CT scan. While you're sitting there on the table in that 20, 30, 40-minute appointment, we're getting a CT scan on that. And then we're looking at that CT scan saying, this is exactly the edge of the tumor right here, and this is where I'm going to direct my radiation. So over the decades, we've been kind of continuously shrinking that fudge factor almost, into now where that fudge factor is very, very tiny. Now we're looking at a fudge factor of a few millimeters or so. And so that makes all the difference, really.
Well, how long a period of time? And I'm sure this varies from patient to patient, but I've heard many times of somebody maybe having treatments 5 days a week for 6 weeks. Do we still go that long usually?
In the right scenario, yeah. Yeah, so there's a couple of things that have really changed that up. One is we're understanding a lot more about tumor biology and how these things work, and figuring out, in addition to actually all these technological advances, saying, maybe we can actually deliver a bigger dose of radiation every day. And so instead of kind of trying to get that therapeutic dose over 6 weeks or so, maybe we can get it in a much shorter period. And then I think too, a lot of this has to deal with kind of the diagnosis and screening for cancer overall. We're actually seeing people with a lot earlier stage cancers now, which means that we have to treat less, which means we can actually focus things in much better. And so I'd say, whereas it used to be standard almost to have 6 weeks, Monday through Friday, about half my cases now I'm doing in shorter periods than that. Some over as little as a week, some just over 2 to 3 weeks or so. But yeah, it's the average is kind of shrunk down a little bit, so that's been great too.
Yeah, that's good to know. Are there any other recent developments in the field of cancer that you find exciting that you'd like to talk about?
Oh wow, yeah. So there's really two things that I kind of look at. One is kind of the upfront setting on things. We are getting so much better at screening people for cancer that we are now finding cancers really early on. Right, so like folks that have like a long history of smoking or something like that. Nowadays we know like, hey, we can get a CT scan, low dose CT scan, maybe once a year to actually look for this. Right, so now we're finding things that are tumors when they're maybe about 1.5 centimeters, about the size of a gumball or something like that, and it's just located in the lung. And that's something that I can knock out pretty quick. 3 to 5 treatments I can take care of that. Versus in the olden days where we didn't actually screen people too much for lung cancers. They'd show up coughing up blood or something like that. We'd come and look at it and say, oh gosh, it's really advanced. We're going to have to go through this 6-week course. So that's been fantastic. And then I think, this is even with outside my discipline on the medical oncology side of things, the newer drugs that are coming out have really been amazing for advanced disease. And I'm seeing some folks now that it's pretty wild when I look back and think about it. I saw a lady, I think about 3 months ago now, she was diagnosed with metastatic lung cancer back in 2011. So this is now 9 years. Mm-hmm. That was something that was just unheard of 15, 20 years ago. And, this is real life now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think what you're saying here kind of proves what's been said for a long time, that early detection is of paramount importance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd say the earlier that you can diagnose these things and find them, the sooner you can nip them in the bud, better outcomes, less toxicity, and everything like that.
Okay, one last question here from me. What advice would you give patients who either have a cancer diagnosis or who are suspected of having cancer, who may be concerned about seeking care at this time during the current COVID-19 epidemic?
Yeah, that's I think that's something that's weighing on a lot of people's minds. We see a lot of what happened in New York and everything like that back in the spring, and so we're really, really worried about this thing. And how do we integrate the rest of our lives into it, really? I think there's some hesitation maybe to go to hospitals because we're worried about being exposed to this stuff. But when it comes to diagnosis like cancer or like worrisome symptoms for that, again, the sooner that we can find this stuff, the better outcomes we have, the less toxicity is associated with treatment, the better everyone does. So I'd say, don't delay. If you have some concerning symptoms or a new diagnosis, I wouldn't delay treatment. We've got a lot of medical professionals out there that are doing their best to kind of take care of the risks associated with COVID, with social distancing, masks in clinics, kind of wiping everything down with all sorts of cleaning agents and all that stuff. So trying our absolute best to really make things as safe as possible for patients. And I think we've done a fairly good job of that. Looking at the numbers coming out of hospitals in terms of did somebody get exposed while they were in a clinic or something like that are actually fairly low. So I think it's, I'd say definitely don't delay.
Okay. We've got about 2 minutes left. Tracy, what else is on your mind this morning?
I think that we have summed it up today. You know, our Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center at Wilson County, it opened just a few months ago, and we have radiation and medical oncology services available for Wilson County residents and the surrounding county, just available. And so we have a direct access to the cancer center that's attached to the hospital, easy access, and we're just thrilled that Vanderbilt has invested in our county.
And Dr. Christian Kluwer, you are, I believe you said you come here 2 days a week?
Yep. That's correct. Yeah.
Which two?
So absolutely on every Tuesday I'm here, 100% for sure. And then usually sometimes I'm flexing over between this and another clinic on Thursdays.
But would you say, as far as cancer treatment overall, things are looking up, especially compared to 2 years ago? We've learned more. We've developed treatment is better. The outlook is better overall.
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting time. I think we're learning a lot more about these tumors. And then we're even able to tailor our treatments much better to the patients, both in terms of what I'm doing with very, very precise and being able to direct things onto the tumor, and then in terms of the systemic therapies as well. I've really seen some amazing stuff out there that's it's just, coming from a long time in training in this field, it's been awesome to see the advances.
Well, we welcome you to our program this morning and wish you well in your treatment, not only here but wherever you are, Nashville and anywhere else, and certainly glad to have you with us today.
That's fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Dr. Christian Kluwer, Vanderbilt Ingram Cancer Center at Wilson County Department of Radiology Oncology. And Tracy Pope, as always, thank you again for being with us and for giving us a good program today.
Thank you, Coleman. And if I don't see you again, I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year.
Thank you. We will probably see you in January.
Absolutely.
All right. That's part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:28. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. I want to thank our friends at Bates Ford, and they've got the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day, up to 30 days after the sale. There'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Looking a little bit better here on 65 southbound coming past Long Hollow Pike from an earlier wreck here in the Millersville area. 7200 block of Centennial Place. That's a crash being cleared. Trying to open it back up here in the next few minutes there at 2nd and 4th near I-40 where a police officer was hurt in that accident. Again, that happened earlier. A curious campout is a family sleepover with kids 2 to 6 at Ripley's Aquarium on January 2nd. Check it out at Ripley's Aquarium Facebook page. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Vanderbilt Health is honored to announce the newest addition to our family of hospitals, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital in Lebanon. This hospital will provide care for Wilson County residents with the goal of improving the health and well-being of our newest community. Hospitals are for healing, new life, and recovery. They're places of innovation and learning. At the end of the day, hospitals are all about one thing: community. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Let's do great things together.
The Dancing Lights of Christmas is back for their 11th annual celebration of the magical Christmas season at the Wilson County Fairgrounds. For just $25 per vehicle, you will experience the dazzling sights and sounds of over 2 million lights synchronized to some rockin' Christmas tunes without ever leaving the safety and comfort of your own vehicle. The Dancing Lights of Christmas, 5 p.m. nightly, November 13th through January 3rd. Don't forget to make plans for Primal Combat December 19th and MMA Championship Fight. For tickets and more information, visit Farm Bureau Exposition Center on Facebook. Attend both events and get discount tickets.
Skies will be mostly sunny out there today, with highs only climbing into the upper 40s. Rain showers do move in tonight and will taper off by Wednesday morning. For your Wednesday, we do have a slight chance of rain in the morning hours, but we do look to clear out by Wednesday afternoon. Temperatures on Wednesday top out in the mid-40s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. Let's look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2. It is a Tuesday morning, and we're ready to talk about Hearthside Senior Living. Sean Dozier, Executive Director, is on the telephone this morning and going to tell us all about Hearthside. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. You need to keep up with your Vanderbilt news.
Well, okay. They got a new football coach. I just now found out.
Congratulations. I know it's going to be a winning decade for you.
Yeah, sure. I can't. I'm not holding my breath.
No, don't hold your breath.
Sean Dozier, Executive Director of Hearthside, and tell us what's going on.
No, I appreciate you letting me call in. I thought we were going to make it through the year without having any cases, but we did, and our staff is pulling together to take care of our residents, and whether it's a pandemic or not, taking care of our residents is priority number one, and we're doing that. Our team is pulling together and doing a great job. I really appreciate all of our staff, and I really appreciate WEMA. A lot of times they don't get any credit, but they're out there running around picking up folks, and I really appreciate them. They've done a great job, and Tracy was just on. Vanderbilt Wilson County's done a great job, so we're going to get through it, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Well, we'll look forward to having you here, and I still have a picture for you.
I know. Susie told me about that. I look forward to seeing it.
Well, she's been passing out pictures and other things, memorabilia that she came upon, and this is one of you and the new board member. And you remember when this picture was taken? You were told about it.
I think it was at the racetrack. We worked together. Joel and I worked
together.
Joel
Thacker, yeah.
10 years at the Super Speedway, and that's probably where it was taken. I think I did see a quick. I saw several photos, and we had several made at the racetrack, and those were fun years. I think Susie's going to the old Lebanon Democrat building and getting old photos. If you watch her Facebook page, she posts a lot of great photos and a lot of old history, and it's really neat to see.
Right. I don't know whether she's still doing that or not, but she made a trip or two up there and came away with some treasures, really.
Yeah.
What else you got to tell us about Hearthside this morning?
Well, I just want to say things. Besides taking care of our residents, we're going full steam ahead. We've got several new residents that are scheduled to move in at the first of the year. People are still calling, scheduling tours and scheduling rooms for the first of the year. After the holidays, a lot of folks will move into the assisted living. We've had a couple of folks in our independent living ask for availability. When we built those homes, started building those homes 10 years ago, one of the benefits was that you get to come to the assisted living when you're ready. You're first in line, and so a couple of folks down there are starting to ask questions about when can I sell my house, or when can I move into the assisted living around the first of the year. So that's always a good sign, and that's what it's meant to do. The independent living folks, when they buy down there, they when they need it, when they need a little helping hand, they'll move into the assisted living. So I think by the first of the year, we'll start to fill back up, and I'm excited about that.
Well, if they vacate the retirement community and come to assisted living, that makes some of those available that you've got a waiting list for. So I guess that helps.
That does. In fact, I probably shouldn't have said too much about it, because those folks on that waiting list, they'll be calling me at 8:00 this morning. So I gotta be careful. But yeah, we'll have some availability in 2021 down in the independent living homes, and of course there are 3-bedroom homes, 2-bedroom homes, and it's a great lifestyle if you're looking for a place just to settle in and to be able to have maintenance on call 24/7. It's just a wonderful place to live.
Well, if you want to know more, you do have a website, I believe, hearthsideliving.com.
HeartsideLiving.com, or as the old-fashioned way, you can call us at 615-443-1994. Just call us or go on the website. There's an email there. You can email us as well. That has a lot of information on the website, so check us out. We're assisted living, and we're also an independent living community. We like to call ourselves Heartside Senior Living because that's what we really are. We're a senior living community right in the heart of Lebanon, and it's just a fantastic place. So call us or go to the website if you're interested in the assisted living or the independent living.
Okay, you ready for a Heartside hello?
Let me give a Heartside hello to Cindy Huffine. She is our director of nursing. She has been working nonstop for the past 2 weeks, and she's done a terrific job taking care of our residents. I say she's from Carthage, but really, Coleman, she's from Riddleton. You ever heard of Riddleton?
I have heard of Riddleton. Yes, I have.
Apparently it's a suburb of Carthage.
Hey, listen, Sean,
yeah.
I was born in Riddleton. How about that?
Were you born in a? Where were you born in?
Well, they didn't go to hospitals to have babies when I was born. So wherever my parents were living in Riddleton at the time.
So you were born in Riddleton. So
yes.
I guess you have heard of Riddleton.
I've heard of it. You didn't get one on me this time. Heartside hello once again to whom?
Cindy Huffines.
Susie Huffines. All right. Will that be it for today?
That'll be it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, we do better when we're in person. We do better when we're in person, don't we?
Well, I think yes, we do. But you'll be here next week, right?
I'll be there next week.
Well, if not, we'll do it on the phone. This is fine too. Thank you so much. Sean Dozier, Executive Director of Heartside Senior Living, 615-443-1994. Okay, I want to welcome Scott Benson this morning, Director of Schools for the Lebanon Special School District. He is here with a lot to tell us. There was a board meeting last night. We'll get caught up to date on what's been going on with the virus and all of this today. So welcome again.
Hey, Coleman. Good to be here this morning.
Well, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
And you are smiling. I don't know whether it's things have gotten better or you're looking forward to a 2-week break.
I can assure you of that. Looking forward to a break, yeah. I have to put on a fake smile every now and then, Coleman. Just to be honest with you.
Well, there's some people, honestly, I wouldn't trade places with at all. And I'm going to tell you, 2 of them are you and
Donna Wright.
Dr. Donna Wright. Yep. It's when everything is going well, certainly it's you have a good position, you make good money, and we all know that. You still have enough headaches then. There are things to deal with. But when you have what you've had to put up with since last March, no, I wouldn't swap places with.
Well, I'm not sure how to take that, Coleman. I think I appreciate the gesture there.
Well, we appreciate the job you're doing and trying to deal with the situation as best you can.
Yeah, that's
there's
what
some
we're doing.
you can't please everybody all the time, and part of that has to do. I mean, part of your job is decision making, and there's some hard decisions.
Yeah, it's hard, it's hard on me. Obviously, you bringing that up, but hey, it's hard on everybody right now, and we understand that. It's hard on our students. It's hard on our teachers and staff and administrators. It's hard on our families, and we get that, and we're just like everybody else, just like you, Coleman. We're trying to do the best we can with the situation we find ourselves in. And we're trying to have school if we can do that safely. And so, yeah, it's been a roller coaster year, but we're continuing on, and that's what we plan to keep doing.
Well, the way the children are learning is a little bit different, but I want to think most people have adjusted to this. The learning may be just a little bit different in how you do it, but I hope they're still getting a pretty good education.
Yeah, let me say this first of all: you can't replace an effective teacher in the classroom 5 days a week. You just can't do that, and we've got a district full of effective teachers. Especially, looking at our the last several years, but now it's been a learning curve. We started in a hybrid situation, going a couple of days a week, trying to maintain that social distance and minimizing exposure. We are on and around fall break, we transitioned to the traditional school where we were going 5 days a week. That really got hard to manage as we approached Thanksgiving. So in or around Thanksgiving there, we backed up going back to hybrid. And so it's been a learning curve, but I've been in several conversations, one last night at the board meeting, that now that we're back in the hybrid situation, not only have our teachers learned from being there previously and improved our craft, but our families and our students have learned as well. So yeah, we have so many success stories, not only from, when we're going 5 days a week, but on our hybrid schedule and how we've worked out a lot of the kinks that we had early in the school year, our virtual academy. And those students that chose to be virtual this year. And so a lot of success stories there. And again, it's difficult for some. It really is. It's difficult for some on the virtual side. It's difficult for some on the hybrid side. And we get that. We understand that. But again, we're trying to balance the responsibility that we feel to have school as long as we can do it safely. And that's what we're doing.
Okay, looking at the calendar here, this Friday's the 18th. That's the last day of school for 2 weeks, or a little more.
Yeah,
than
for students it will be. We actually the 21st is was an abbreviated day on our original calendar for school, and because we're in the hybrid schedule, we wouldn't have students on Monday. And we do have some small groups of students coming in, but we're not going to have them come in on that Monday. So our staff will come in for just a few hours on Monday the 21st, but we have the rest of this week through the 18th with students. Correct. And again, in the hybrid schedule. So today being Tuesday, our A students would be there today and Thursday, and our B students would be there Wednesday and Friday.
It can get confusing. And
it can.
If you have children in both systems, it can be even more confusing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're probably where we need to take a break. I know you've got a lot to tell us, and I'm going to let you really have it here. It is the time. I'm not going to give you a rough time. I'm going to let you tell us all you can when we come back. A break here on Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:44. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota and Rental Land Pride. Quality tractor implements including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well built. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We've seen a couple of accidents out here the last 15, 20 minutes right now. We're watching traffic build down Ellington Parkway from the top down to the bottom. Here comes that steady flow of traffic out of Mount Juliet right now down I-40, leaving Wilson County into Hermitage. Traffic still not too bad as far as wrecks up 65 as you make your way up through Brentwood, Franklin. Still a little bit heavy through Millersville from an earlier wreck we had 65 south at Long Hollow Pike. Hey, to cater your next holiday party coming up, call Prince's Hot Chicken or simply go online, princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Get excited for Christmas as you take a stroll through Fiddler's Grove Historic Village and see the buildings come to life with animated Christmas decorations. Bring your friends and family to enjoy this safe outdoor adventure. CDC guidelines are being followed. Masks encouraged. Hand sanitizing available throughout the walk. Tours available Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now through December 19th. More details at fiddlersgrovetennessee.com. For the love of Tennessee, visit Wilson County and travel safe.
The 2020 Titans have all grown up together. They've had a taste of success in the playoffs, and they're back with Derrick Henry.
Henry 20, Henry 10.
Ryan Tannehill at quarterback.
Tannehill keeping around right in, driving, he's in.
A stout defense.
Titan ball.
And a head coach in Mike Vrabel who's ready to lead them.
Brought to you by Steve Lowe Plumbing and the Jewelers.
LHS, Cumberland University, and the Tennessee Titans. The winning teams are on WANT 98.9.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. We thank Scott Benson for coming out once a month and being on for us. We learn a lot about the school district, and I hope this is very informative to our listeners. Maybe many of whom have children in school. Maybe even some of the children listen. I don't know. We may be too boring for them.
Well, some are at home today, but they should be checking in with their teachers. So,
okay, you want to go to your board meeting last night?
Yeah, I can. we almost let the listeners in on a little football talk there during the break. The music was playing as we were adjusting there. But we did have a board meeting last night, our regular scheduled December board meeting. And we had that last night. Fairly light agenda. Obviously, COVID was a part of our conversation as well, although we didn't have anything on the agenda related to that. We got into that in my director's report. But we had 3 new business items last night, Coleman, as part of the agenda. I'll go through this pretty quickly. Then we'll talk about mainly information and reports from last night. But we got approval last night because this wasn't in our original budget to do some restroom upgrades at Coles Ferry Elementary. You know, we always try to make sure our facilities are in good shape, and we spend money every year on upgrading, especially some of our older buildings. And we had done some bathroom work at Byers Dowdy and Sam Houston and Walter J. over the last few years. And so we're going to do a little at Coles Ferry this year. And we didn't have that in the original budget just because we were going into a COVID budget, being conservative, those type things. But our sales tax money continues to come in strong. We've talked about that before. And so last night got approval to spend a little money at Coles Ferry and doing a little facility work there. We also had approval to upgrade our camera system at Winfrey Bryant Middle School. And, you know, Winfrey Bryant, our newest school, other than Jones Brummett, that we're going to open in the fall. But Coleman, we've opened Winfrey Bryant in 2010-11. So, you know, that's getting on up there. It's 10 years. And so need some upgrades there with the camera system. And so we got approval to do that last night with the board as well. We had some policy updates. We subscribed to the TSBA plan to update our board policies. And so they monitor our board policies for us. They send us recommendations when laws change and when policies need to be just cleaned up for some language, et cetera. And that's pretty much what this was, just cleaning up some language in 8 policies. So we had charter school applications, textbooks and instructional materials, interrogations and searches, physical examinations, and immunizations. Had a hard time saying that word. Medicines, as well as commercial advertising on school buses, special education students, and sick leave. So just some minor language updates in those policies. No really significant change in the way we operate there. So we approved those last night as well. Like I said, as a recommendation from TSBA. So in my director's report, in reporting things out to the board, I made them aware that last Friday, the Mid-Cumberland superintendents in Middle Tennessee area, and we typically Zoom on a weekly basis and discuss school and COVID and those kind of things. But last Friday, it was last Thursday, we had a superintendent Zoom meeting, but we invited our legislators. So Dr. Wright and I invited Representative Boyd and Senator Pody to join us, and the other superintendents invited their legislators as well. And so we just wanted to, prior to going into session, we wanted to have a collective conversation as school superintendents to our legislators to let them know, what's on our agenda right now, what's important to us. And some of it COVID related. So real quickly, I'll go down. We had an agenda. Real quickly, I'll go through that agenda. And we've talked about a couple of these things because many school boards, to include us, had resolutions in the last several months where we sent to TSBA and sent to our legislators, et cetera, on some of these issues. And one is BP funding in relation to our enrollment this year, which is down a little as a result of COVID. You're nodding your head. You remember us talking about that. So we had a conversation about that, and we also discussed our BEP funding and the ratio for school nurses. And so, as you can well imagine, I know we've talked about this too, the importance of school nurses pre-COVID, but especially now during this COVID situation that we're in. So just long story short there, in our district, we employ 7 nurses. We have 6 schools. We have a nurse in every school, and then we have a nursing supervisor that works very closely with our nurses, and also is in the schools every day and subs when she needs to. But during COVID, she's one of our chief contact tracers. So as a school district, we only earn in the BEP formula, the funding formula for the state of Tennessee, we earn 1.27, I think, nurses in our district. And I just told you we have 7. So that's one of the areas, one of the many areas that BEP does not fund local school districts what we need. So that's important to us. So we wanted to make sure our legislators understood that. We talked about teacher evaluations and what that looks like, and how much importance should we place on teacher evaluations this year in the COVID situation that we find ourselves in. Also, we had a resolution, Coleman, on state assessments in school and district teacher accountability this year in the COVID situation we're in. We've talked about that before, so I won't discuss that a whole lot. And then lastly, on our agenda, we had teacher raises. And just real briefly there, Governor Haslam, when he was in office, he had a commitment to teacher raises, and quite frankly, there was quite a bit of money invested in teacher raises while he was in office. The bad part about that is other states did that as well. So we didn't make the headway across the country that was the plan there for us to jump in front of some of these other states with teacher salaries, because other states did this as well. So this past year in Governor Lee's budget, there was nothing for teacher raises. And, going into a COVID year, they were being conservative. Right. But still, from the state, as part of the BEP, there were zero monies for teacher raises. So that's very important to us. We wanted to communicate all of those items to our legislators. I'm very appreciative of Representative Boyd, Senator Pody. We've got good relationships with them here locally, and got them on speed dial, and they give me a listening ear when I feel like I need one, and are supportive of the school district. And I think hearing them talk as well, that most of these items will be looked upon favorably downtown when the time comes. So we'll see as that moves forward. But I wanted the board to know, behind the scenes there, some of the things going on with our legislators.
Right.
Yeah. So obviously gave a Jones Brummett Elementary update, our newest school in the Lebanon Special School District that will open in August.
And we want to hear a little bit of that if you can.
Yeah, I knew you would. So construction continues to move along well. Even though we've had a few hiccups because of COVID, with this crew shutting down or another crew shutting down, maybe some materials that weren't shipped on time, but we're continuing to be on time as far as our timeline. So we do look to take possession of the building into February, 1st of March. Right in that area. I've been there 2 or 3 times in the past week, and
so that should be plenty of time.
Oh, plenty of time, yeah. Okay. Plenty of time to get moved in and for the furniture to come in. We've got one more meeting, I think, with that before we press the send button on the order there. We want to get in our order on this year's prices, so we got to do this. Matter of fact, by this Friday, we had set that deadline on the 18th to do that, but we're going to make that happen. But they're finishing up the floor tiles. They're putting down the gym floor, Coleman, there. So just doing some final touches in the parking lot and those kind of things. Pam Sampson, our Director of Teaching and Learning, had a meeting yesterday on our library materials. And so we're also talking about playground equipment and those sorts of things. Our sign out front of the school, Coleman, I don't know if you've been by, but our sign is very attractive out by the road there on Hartman.
I got to go see it.
You've got to go see that. That looks good out by the road. We've talked about this here on the air. We've posted that principal's job, and matter of fact, we're going to communicate today by email with the folks that have applied to be principal, and we're going to set up interviews for the second week of January.
You have a number of people seeking that?
Quite a bit of interest in that. We've got several that have officially applied, and then I've got several that have made phone calls and sent emails otherwise that have an interest that maybe haven't hit the send button, so to speak, on that application. But quite a bit of interest in that as well. So moving right along, one big thing that we've been working on that we haven't shared a lot publicly yet on this. We're still not ready to do that, but we've been working on our zoning for quite a while.
Yeah.
And I actually did some extensive work on that really a year ago, and then had the plan to sort of shelve that for a while, let it simmer, so to speak, I guess. But I guess because of COVID, it simmered probably a little longer than we intended to. But we've had that back out the last few weeks. And I know I mentioned this probably a year or more ago, but we purchased a program to help us with our zoning electronically, to do that electronically. And it's just a really fascinating program where we can just take our mouse and move a line and add numbers and delete numbers from one school zone to the other, and it prints out a report for us with every piece of data that we would want to know with students and whatever subgroup they might be in, and low income, free and reduced, ESL, et cetera, all sorts of categories that students could fit in. So working hard on that zoning, and we looked in the next couple of months in the spring, we will have parent meetings at zone schools, because this is going to impact several people across the district. Yeah. You know, the plan all along was to create some space in every one of our elementary schools for growth. Right. So all of our schools are going to lose a little enrollment, not necessarily to go to the new school, but maybe they've shuffled a little bit amongst other schools as well. So working on that, and like I said, in the next couple of months, we'll be ready to go public with that and have some meetings with parents and be able to communicate with letters, et cetera.
1 minute.
Oh, 1 minute. Time goes fast. So, I hadn't really talked about...
I say that because you have your back to the clock.
You are correct. You are correct. So we'll wind it up with COVID, and I'll say this. I mentioned briefly earlier that talking about our teachers and how hard they're working and the learning curve, and that we worked a lot of things out and a lot of success stories there. We're thankful for our teachers and our staff doing those things, for our families for working with us. But since we've gone to the hybrid, back to the hybrid, we backed up a little bit, and we're having a hard time managing our numbers, just quite frankly, Coleman, and we've talked about this on the air with staffing. It has become much more manageable, and we are quarantining far fewer students, and we have far fewer staff that are not only positive cases, but with quarantines. So just as an example of that, back when we were having a hard time managing, on my absentee report that I get on a month every morning, we would have as much as 60 to 80 staff members out in a day across the district. The last 2 days, that number's been in the 20s. So that has drastically gone down. So we are managing this much better in the hybrid schedule. So we're hoping to hang on to that. We hope that pattern continues this week, so we can continue through this week and have school. But that's where we are. Going to take a break at Christmas and see what the numbers look like in January.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to your visit in January, and thanks so much for being with us
Yes,
today.
sir.
Scott Benson, Director of Schools for the Lebanon Special School District. That's it for a Tuesday. Join us tomorrow if you will. Till then, I wish you a terrific day.